So this is the Atomos. It's called the Assassin. It's a 7.1-inch IPS screen technology. The actual screen itself is 1920 by 1200 resolution. So what we can see is we've got a full 1920 by 1080 image here. The extra pixels at the bottom allow us to have a menu. We can still see the full screen. We can. It's not just a monitor. It's also a hard drive recorder. Okay, so we can actually we can dual record. So we can record on the camera and we can record on the monitor. The idea of that is that not only can we record higher quality images on here, but we actually have a second copy of our data. So when you get back from a shoot, usually first thing you do is you sit there and back up all your files from a memory card. Now when you get back from a shoot, you can put the hard drive straight onto a USB 3 dock, and you're ready to edit. You can plug that straight into your Mac and you're ready to edit. Once you put the hard drive in, we can either record triggered from the camera. So when we hit record on here, the camera will start to record as well, and the monitor will record at the same time. We can also monitor audio on here. So on HDMI, we're able to send the 10 channels of audio down a HDMI. We have a waveform for checking, and these are high-res scopes. So we can check our brightness and contrast levels. If we just change the brightness there, look, you can see the scope moving. So we can check our effectively our brightness band. We've also got RGB parade. We have a vector scope. We have focus assist, which will put a highlight on areas that are in focus. This can be changed color as well. We can have a black and white background. We have zebra, which will show you your exposure, peaking, and safe color. We support any type of aspect ratio, anamorphic or 4:3, 16:9, and we can also have things like this is different safety markers you can have. We have on here, we can do one-to-one expansion, so that will show you true pixels, and it means you can navigate around the image as well. It's a touchscreen system. So for example, if I'm shooting something like an interview and I want to make sure this guy's face is in focus, I can do a 2-to-1 expansion. I can focus on his face, make sure it's how I want it. But if it's recording, even though I'm moving around the screen like this, when we play it back, it only records the full image. So it's a dual layer system. So it will let you zoom in, move around the image, check areas of focus, but it only records a full-size image. We have we also have a like a logging and tagging area. So whilst we're recording, we can tag clips good or bad, and that will add metadata to the files at key points. Or we can even edit now. So we can mark in and out points, and we can actually create a sequence. The reason we want to edit in a monitor is that whilst you're on location, you can quickly cut together a sequence and show it to the director before you leave set. So whilst all the lighting's set up and people have got their makeup on, you can show the director the sequence, make sure the shots all flow together. Reduces the chances of coming back for a reshoot in a week when you've edited it and he's not happy with it. We can also, once we've done that, we can export an XML file to the hard drive, take that into your non-linear editing system, and you've actually started your rough cut. It's very common as well that on a shoot, if you're shooting flat images, the director will complain there's a problem with the lighting because he doesn't understand why you shoot. For maximum dynamic range, you're shooting flat images. He doesn't understand that. But what you can do is you can actually bring your lookup tables off your grading suite, put them on the hard drive, load them onto the system, and you can actually apply your grade. Now, you can apply it to half the image, so you can see before and after, so you see the split screen, or you can apply it to the whole image. you apply it to the whole image, you can also record this. So, but that's destructive, it will burn it in. So the reason people want to record a 3D look into their image live is, for example, if you were doing a conference or an event and you didn't have time to do a grade, you can record it straight in. So it's a recorder, a monitor, and a playback, and now we can edit as well. And you see we can check the power batteries, check hard drive status. We can also do time lapse as well. And the thing with time lapse is we had a lot of requests for this. So with the time lapse, you can actually do a thing called frame blending. And what this does is it motion interpolates between frames. So we cache the last 60 frames, and we motion interpolate. So for example, if you look at this freeway shot here, you see the effect on the cars. That's all done by the Atomos recorder. That's nothing to do with the camera. The camera's just set as standard. The main advantage with recording externally is the output on the camera is actually higher quality than what the camera records internally. The camera has to compress the files with H.264 in order to get maximum record time on a small memory card. So for example, the camera has got a 64 gigabyte card, whereas the recorder on top, the Atomos, has got a 1000 gigabyte hard drive. So we don't need to compress the files as much. So we can record much higher quality files. And the crazy thing is that although our files are higher quality, you've got 422 color, and the files are actually larger. Even though they're larger, when you edit them, your edit system will run faster. Because if you're using the H.264 files off the camera, the problem you've got is that compression has to be uncompressed before the computer can work with the files. So therefore, if you work with them in their current state as H.264, your computer's going to have to do a huge amount of processing to work with those files. Whereas what we're recording is a very simplistic, edit-friendly file format, which means that if you're doing a big, long-form edit and you've got thousands of assets, you really don't want that to be an H.264. You're going to go to Apple ProRes anyway, so you may as well do it on the monitor. We don't actually sell the hard drives. What we supply is just these plastic caddies, which are £2.50, and you buy your own hard drives. So this is just a standard eSATA drive. The advantage of that is that if we tried to sell you these hard drives, they'd probably be charging at 4 or 5 times the value, the street price. You get to take advantage of low-cost IT-based media, and you buy your own drives, so it's going to save you an absolute fortune. So at the moment, for a Rec 709 broadcast calibrated screen, it's probably the lowest cost product available, but it's also a hard drive recorder as well. So you're literally getting a monitor, a confidence monitor for the field, and you've got effectively a high 4K and HD recorder, all for $699 expat.